From KPRC Channel 2, this is a breaking news alert.
Good morning to you. I'm Rachel McNeil. We're bringing you live pictures from Sky 2 right now. You see officers in chase. They have been chasing this pickup truck, this white pickup truck you see at the bottom of your screen there, since about 9:30 this morning. This chase started around the area of the 2200 block of the South Hardy and has kind of snaked its way through downtown, around to the Harrisburg Metro rail line, over on the east end, and now you can see that they were on the North Loop at Hardy Toll Road, where this truck driver exited. Now on the feeder road, you could see all those black and white units, HPD officers in pursuit, and it has slowed down quite a bit now that he's exited there onto the feeder road. And you see him kind of moving around other cars, not really going at a high rate of speed, but certainly officers staying very, very close behind on his tail as this truck driver is there. You see the cross timbers sign where this driver is right now. Again, these are live pictures from Sky 2, and you can see officers kind of coming around onto the left-hand side, a lot of other drivers there on the road. And now you can see he's picking up speed back on the freeway, and officers are staying really close to him at this point. We have no idea how this chase started or why it started, but we kind of picked up word on it at about 9:30, and you can see this has been going on for about 20+ minutes now, and at some points we're told this driver was going the wrong way down some roads. We haven't heard any word of any injuries or anything like that. You can see that he's getting off 45 now, exiting at Airline, going around a bus there, and still continuing, but no signs of pulling over yet from what we've been able to see. But certainly he's come pretty close to other cars on the road, but hasn't bumped anyone, nothing like that we've heard the entire time. Cruisers just building in number behind him as he continues there north on 45. This is kind of on the feeder road here near Airline.
Well, yeah, and he just came through a pretty congested part of 45 coming off of that North Loop, and again staying very close to the highway there as he's just on the feeder. He's passed cross timbers, as you mentioned. He has passed Airline, and he's continuing to head northbound here with all of these units tailing him on the feeder road. At some point, though, we'll have to see if he gets back on tonight. That is actually the Airline exit right there that he's passing. And
you can see the officers at times have come almost alongside him, most of the time depending upon how narrow the streets are, whether other people are on the road. They've been in single file behind him, and now you can see he's going pretty slowly, and it looks like he may be either pulling over or trying to make a turn here by this Cons, going around traffic, certainly not in any hurry. Let's see how he gets through this intersection here, and you can see one driver there on the right as he kind of circles around him, and he is continuing, we're assuming it's a he, to drive down there. Do we know what street he turned on?
Well, I think what's interesting
Airline.
too here is we're looking at him riding on the right side. He's got just rims left.
Looks like he's down to rims.
Yeah, whatever was happening here for the last 45 minutes or so, he lost 2 tires at least, Rachel, along the way as we watch this chase live here along 45, the North Freeway. He did make that turn, though, as you said.
And you can see, oh, there he goes. He's now sandwiched between 2 civilian cars right there at that intersection. He may be done now. Now, one's coming out on the right. You can see hands up in the air. Police officers on the left trying to get the driver out as well. One down on the ground as they're pulling the other one out, cuffing him as well.
See if there's anyone else in that vehicle.
The second suspect, the driver, now on the ground. Again, these are live pictures you're looking at right now. This is the end of a police chase that started on Houston's north side at about 9:30. 25 minutes later, after snaking throughout the city, you can see that they have 2 suspects in custody. I'm assuming spike strips are probably at some point what helped these tires get down to the very rims and what led to finally the end of this chase, but they definitely hit someone as they sandwich in between those 2 cars at that intersection.
I'm being told this is Airline at Berry Road, which is where the chase finally came to an end. As you mentioned, Rachel, he came upon this red light where no one was moving, and that driver decided he was going to try to push everyone out of the way, and riding on rims like that, there was no way he was going to squeeze that pickup truck between those 2 vehicles. He lost the wheel, and that vehicle was disabled.
And you can see officers kind of looking through the back of that truck, trying to figure out what might be back there and just making sure the situation is safe. But They got 2 guys into custody from what we see where this ended at Airline and Barry. As you can see, that we're wondering how bad the damage was to that silver SUV. They really nailed that one on the side as they came to a stop finally at that intersection.
Well, you always wonder what a driver's going to do in a situation like this. They get on these highways, and of course at any moment, this is a major city. You could run into some traffic when they go down onto the side streets. I mean, there are red lights, there are people everywhere. This was obviously going slow, we know now, for a reason, because he was missing his 2 right tires there. You know, when we picked up on this chase, they were already moving at relatively slow speed. So this is, again, where it ended. You're looking at live pictures here, Airline and Barry on the north side of Houston, where 2 suspects were just apprehended by Houston police. They pulled, well, the one guy put his hands out of the window. They pulled them both basically from the windows.
Yeah, exactly. So fortunately, it came to an end fairly safely. But again, one car was hit for sure and kind of turned over to the right. The second car was sideswiped as they finally cornered these 2 at the intersection of Barry and Airline. Again, when this started at 9:30, we didn't have any word or any idea about what these guys were pulled over for, what this chase, how it began. But certainly, we're trying to get to our crews on the ground to get more information and figure out what led up to all of this and how this pursuit began. But from what we've been hearing, it kind of started in the area of South Hardy and made its way all the way through downtown Houston. At some points, that white truck was going the wrong way on certain streets in downtown Houston, made it along the Harrisburg Metro Rail over to the east side, and then circled back around 45, headed north. We saw them pass Cross Timbers. That's kind of where we picked it up with our live chopper. And then they were on that North Loop and Hardy Toll area. Finally exited around Airline, and that's where being on those rims and then being stuck in traffic at an intersection, tried to forge his way through, absolutely stuck.
And you got to wonder what the thought was. I mean, that is a congested part of 45. We saw them coming from the loop onto 45, where the traffic was definitely slowing them down. Perhaps these guys thought getting off to the feeder road was a better move for them. But obviously, as you get a closer look here on this suspect vehicle, you can see just down to the rims. I mean, there was basically nothing left on that right side for those guys to keep moving.
Absolutely incredible. And I know when we started with our chopper pictures, we were so wide, it was hard to tell that they were truly down to the metal on those rims, but you can really get a good look at it now as you see officers kind of walking around checking the vehicle. Those 2 right side tires, the passenger side tires, completely down to nothing, which explains he wasn't ever able to pick up much speed in the time that we picked up this chase with our live cut in. And you could really see that he finally gave up on trying to do this on the freeway, and that's when he pulled over onto the feeder at Airline, really slowed down to a stop, and then because of traffic couldn't go anywhere else.
That's a good point. If you know anyone in that area, anyone that might be heading north up 45, this could be obviously going to be a traffic issue here on the side streets. Airline and Barry is the intersection where this came to an end. You can see even the debris there on the ground from the 2 vehicles that he hit there.
And here we go. We're turning around the video from when the chase was kind of coming to an end here. You can see how he bumped right in between these 2 cars, tried to get through them, came to a stop. One guy pops out of the passenger side. He immediately goes hands up. Officers get him in custody pretty quickly. He gets down on the ground. You can see the officer on the top of your screen there pulling the driver out. He looks like he's resisting a bit. 2 of the officers push him down to the ground forcibly, get him cuffed. Both guys are in custody.
And watching the end, you know, he even tried to keep going. I'm not sure that driver even knew that he was just on his rims when he came barreling through that intersection, slamming into those 2 guys. He saw that back wheel keep spinning and spinning. He was going to keep going as long as he could.
Absolutely. And now you can look back on our live pictures right now, and you really see the damage now to the front right side of that truck. You see the complete damage on that side of it as they came to a stop there. But again, 2 people in custody. The chase ends. Airline at Barry. We have crews on the way. We'll bring you more in our later newscasts. Stay with KPRC Channel 2 News.